Sometimes the weight of the world can get you down. That's why there's SqueeVine, the twice-yearly deck designed to gently lift your mood and help you rediscover joy. Clinically proven to increase feelings of happiness and boost your emotional well-being, SqueeVine works your brain's natural chemistry so you can smile more, stress less, and enjoy life again. Mitigating conditions apply. SqueeVine may cause side effects, including nausea, dizziness, or changes in appetite. Insomnia or unusual dreams about lizards. In rare cases, a heightened interest in libraries and cradles may occur. Muscle cramps and fatigue. Do not take SqueeVine if you're allergic to any of its ingredients or currently rate-filled. SqueeVine is not suitable if your metagame suffers from high frog pressure, excess usage of waste or strips. Using SqueeVine whilst interacting with orcs or bug could be fatal. Happiness shouldn't feel out of reach. Ask your deck doctor about SqueeVine today. Available in pharmacies nationwide while stock-ups last. Okie dokie nerds, welcome to another vintage video. Today we're playing some Squee. Over the weekend, TaJoordan managed to go like 4-1 drop in one of the challenges with a Squee deck. Obviously very exciting stuff for us. So we're going to give it a go and see if we've missed the window for Squee or just spiked it instead. At the moment, the top of the metagame is basically Raker Shops and PO, which are good matchups for, which are potentially good matchups for Squee. So we're going to give it a bash and see how we do. 4 Force of Vigors, because 2 artifact decks being at the top of the metagame is good for us. This is not their list. They said they didn't like it, so I've made some changes for my own happiness sort of thing and gone basically classic stock building. 4 negations, 4 traps, 4 Force of Wills, and then all of my creature removal is in the sideboard. I don't know how good that is. Got 1 Echoing Deeps in the main to consider the fact that Blue-Black Lurrus does still exist. And then, yeah, I think this is just like the most AI-generated Squee list you can come up with sort of thing in the main deck, except for the Echoing Deeps maybe, but I think this is very good. But yeah, all the interaction for the combo decks, the 4 Vigors in the main to bink on them. Post board, there's 2 snapbacks. Jordan had 1, I think they're dope, so I've added another. Echoing Deeps, again for the Wasteland matchups. Caracas can come in your Wasteland matchups. It can also bounce things like Lavinia, Shieldred, Atraxa. So there we go. Kill spells, and then some Graveyard Hate. That's the deck. We're going to run it through a league and see how we do. See if we are back or whether Jordan just spiked. Anyway, see you down there for round 1. Okie dokie, round 1, we're up against CRK, who, the progenitor of the Raker Shops deck. Cool to play round 1. We're going to keep our 7. We're going to see how we do. So they've got 1 Strip Mine in the main and 1 Lodestone Golem. And that's all of the prison that they've got. Well, they might have a Trinisphere, I can't remember actually. But we have got a Bazaar of Baghdad and a Strip Mine of our own and a Squee. So let's discard 2 Lizards and a Squee. We'll cast the Lizards. We'll aim to trap them, and then we'll aim to strip them out of the game. So I also want the 4/4, please. Thank you. So it's going to be Raker Shops, which is the matchup I'm most interested in, because that's the one that's new, right, since we last played Squee. I don't know how good it is. I asked Jordan, how's your Raker matchup, when I played them in the challenge the other day, and he said, I don't know, they're in the losers bracket, which I don't think was untrue at the time, but also I was hoping for something a bit deeper. But nonetheless, it made me laugh. So, Ruby, to start with, I can't counter the next spell, but the third one is fair game. So hopefully this is like Mana Vault into Breaker, a Vexing Bauble. So that just kills us. Well, we now have to erase them. We get to strip them. The Vexing Bauble is horrible. So they do have, on top of what I said earlier, they've got a Vexing Bauble. That's really horrible for us, so because we can't cast spells now. Unless they play a Lodestone Golem and we hold our Strip Mine. But I imagine the way we're going to approach this game now is just to try and activate as many Bazaars as possible. Oof, okay, maybe not. They've got Wastelands, so maybe they've moved on to like a prison build, because they didn't used to have Wastelands in their decks. This is rough. We get our Squee back. Vexing Bauble counters everything we do. Do we play strip mine? I don't think so. I think we just attack. Hit them for 6. And strip a land once it's... Like, the plus side of playing the strip mine is we bink this exact trigger, but this card's restricted. I think I'd rather not have them play around strip mine and feed me an ancient tomb. I'd much rather just, you know... The worst thing is they play an ancient tomb, they play a soul ring, they play something, and then I strip it, and then they play the saga, and we just die. It's like, this way is better, but playing it out, if that's their only land and they feel like they need to develop it, then maybe we would have got it with the trigger on the stack. But it looks like we're going to get away with one anyway. So force and negation's cool if our strip mine here puts them in a position that they feel like they need to activate the bauble. Opponent's going to fall to 8. That's going to, you know, we're applying the pressure, but the downside is that they can just punt so many creatures and tokens into play that suddenly our life gets very difficult. But hopefully the pressure that we provide makes them unlock off the bauble. Crucible Worlds. Okay, so they're actually just a Prison Shops deck. They replay the saga. So they're not on their deck. I guess maybe they're thinking, actually, if I play a 4 Null Rod Prison deck. So yeah, so then Golos into tab here would be a game. And we would be dead. So they can't just sit back on this token. That's not big enough and not doing enough. They need the Golos Tabernacle for the sweeper here. They've got the Wasteland to get to 5 mana. So if they're Prison Shops, then they're going to have, obviously, 4 Spheres, a Thorn, a Lodestone, a Trinisphere, a Bauble. A lot of stuff we don't like. There's a Sphere of Resistance coming in. That doesn't do enough. Vexing Bauble, sure, okay. So they played the Sphere so that I can't play cards off the Bauble. But I feel like they need to draw Tabernacle right now, right? Otherwise they're just dead. They can dump a lot of Moxen, but they've just put a Sphere into play. So it's hard for that to ramp. So what would have to start with Lotus, and they're just dead. Okay. So we got away with one there, but Prison Shops is not what I was expecting from our opponent. So I do want my Echoing Deeps, and I do want my Caracas. These two will help me at least cast 3 spheres anyway. I think Snapback's actually interesting in this matchup. And do I want like a Fury or a Pyre-K? Probably just a Fury. Let's see if we've actually got the cuts for that. What would I want to cut? Maybe Trim a Mindbreak Trap. Misstep can go probably. Or maybe I just want to be actually quite delicate with the sideboarding. And just drop like a Mindbreak Trap. And just have these two. Yeah, maybe I like that. I'm on the draw, so maybe the traps can be better than like a random Squee. Like the engine's good, but I'm just going to be strip locked, aren't I? So I'm going to try this out. Keep all the blue apart from the misstep. And then Echoing Deep's Caracas in. Dropping a Squee. Because the engine is good, but the engine's also going to get broken up by Leylines and Wastelands. So maybe we're less reliant on Squee effects. We're more reliant on dumping early. Traditionally a horrible matchup for us, but it just depends how much they slanted their deck to beat artifact decks, right? So we'll keep this, and we'll bottom 2 powders. Oh, 1 powder, sorry, I lied. And if they go Land Needle, then so it goes. So Sapphire, Jet, Wasteland, Trinisphere. So we'll trap the Sphere. We'll waste the Wasteland, unless I draw a second Bizarro or Noxious off the turn. Force Negation. 3 cards over there. Do I waste the Wasteland? I think so. I think we just get rid of that. It means I'm unprotected for another turn. they've just got a Thorn of Amethyst, which allows me to still cast Lizards and everything, but they've missed a land drop, which is exciting as well. Force of Vigor is a cracking draw because we can cast it with a Wasteland. So let's go Master of Death. Oh, this is close. Master of Death, Serum Powder, Mindbreak Trap, I guess. And then cast the Hollow One. And then we can get back onto Force of Negation later with the Master. And if we top deck a green card, we can Vigor their lands. They've got an Ancient Tomb though, which is bad for the home team. Scrawling Crawler, that's interesting. So that card's going to clock us for like 4 or 5 a turn. We get this guy back. And then we draw another Wasteland. Let's activate first. I do find a green card. Let's discard Master. Wasteland Negation, I guess. So I lose some life points. I play a Wasteland. And I attack for 4. I presume in their upkeep I'm just supposed to kill Scrawling Crawler and Thorn of Amethyst. I'm heavily exposed to Wasteland here. Next time I get Force of Will back online. But our opponent's getting another card. Oh no, I get Force of Will right now, that's cool. That's going to really help. Scrawling Crawler is an interesting one. Like, the card draw taxing on your life is effective, but I know I've played PO and I've played Doomsday recently, and I found the card to be pretty ineffective against both of those decks. So I'm not sure whether it's actually there. Like, I had someone play Raker Shops against me when I was on Doomsday. They played a turn 1 Scrawling Crawler, and it was like, okay, that's cute, you're dead now. So I'm going to leave the Wasteland where it is for now, because if they tap an Ancient Tomb, they're dead to the Hollow One. I've got a Force of Will, and this allows me to beat a Tabernacle as well. So unless they've got 2 horrible effects, we should be good. And if they lead on Sphere, I'm going to be able to beat the Sphere as well. So Sphere's fine, because I've got a Wasteland in play. And they just can't do anything. Cool. So I'll hold to play around Dismember, which they can't cast. That was an awful way to hold. New card is cool. Put you to 2. And now we are a bit exposed. If our opponent leads Wasteland and then plays a Golos, it's a bit annoying. But they're just dead. Okay, so we did beat Sphere Shops, which is traditionally a tough matchup for us. Yeah, this Scrawling Crawler you'll see around, but you'll find that a lot of the time you can just kind of go through it, and it's only good when something else has reduced your life total, I found. So, hey. A win against Sphere Shop, so that's quite cool. Okay, then round 2, we're up against Bobovich, who I don't know, but we will learn. This is going to be a powder anyway, so let's see. And then a mulligan because there's no Bazaar. And now we'll keep this. I'll put back one of the blue cards. Keep up Vigor, keep up second Bazaar, keep Squee for the engine to get rolling. And yeah, the main thing I wanted to play against today was the CRK Shops deck, except they just weren't on it. But here's Ambitious Workshop, so we could be against it again. Patchwork Automaton. So I find this card very hard to beat as Squee. So I think I'm going to fight it. Because I've got this Vigor behind to clear up whatever else they do. Okay, why is everyone on Sphere Shops all of a sudden? Now I feel like a twat. Mindbreak Trap, sure. Oh, this is horrific. I can't cast the Lizard, so I'll hold it. SqueeVine, I guess just a trap. And then we get wasted and die, so same story as last game. I'm not sure why everyone's suddenly so attached to Sphere Shops as a strategy. Let's play our Wasteland then. I do have to pitch my green card, which is a bit of a shame. but I can kill their 2 things before they can replay a wasteland. So kill this, pay the 1. They've got 2 cards left. We've got 3 Noxious. We've got 2 Noxious and 3 Bazaars to play the game with. And if they miss on making a play here, that's huge for us because we can just waste their workshop and then both players are in a hole. But if they have any play here, we probably lose. I don't know what the appeal of Sphere Shops is into the current meta game. You get 4 null rods, but the rest of your deck is unplayable into the metagame, right? Raker Shops doesn't care about your prison element. They've got workshops, full mocks, and their creatures spit things out, and they're a combo deck. So even if you get them under some sort of lock, they're just going to kill you by casting spells and playing Scrawling Crawlers. Opponent's got a Chalice on 1, that's fine. And an Ancient Tomb. Okay, so we need to draw a Bazaar. Noxious. Do I want to wasteland their workshop? Probably. Probably just try and keep them off their bigger spells. So I can't imagine Sphere Shops. I haven't looked at anything. I can't imagine Sphere Shops has got a good Rake Shops matchup. I can't imagine it's got a good PO matchup either. But hey, what do we know? I'm just going to keep wastelanding their workshops, and then I'll die to their saga when they draw it. Assuming that I draw one of my 3 Bazaars before they draw one of their sagas. That's where we are at the moment. I've got a Patchwork. Mind Break Trap. Yeah, there's a good chance this Patchwork coast to coast us here, but and you can't beat Mono White either. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird to me that would be the metagame's reaction, you know? There's a very good chance I'm just completely missing something, but I want my trap back. I don't know about this misstep, man. Like, if they're on needles and cages, and this is, like, cages are irrelevant, but, like, needles, this is really good. No, I'm going to have the Mind Break instead. I think the Mind Break's more likely to hit something like we saw against CRK, right? Like, Mox, Prison Piece. I will repeat that this is usually a bad matchup for us because of those, that, as you sort of saw, right? Lock Piece plus Wasteland, and we just lose. It's just over. So we'll see if we can get like a good tempo hand this time, get ahead of them, and then on the draw we'll need some sort of trap, Force of Will into dump Power and Toughness hand, and a slight moment of crossing our fingers. Okay, game 2 against another Sphere Shops opponent. We've got 2 Bazaars, we've got Chalice on 0. This is cool. I like this a lot. This is a hand. No ley line from the other side of the board. I'm going to play the Chalice to start with. I don't know why I've done it in that order. I can't actually tell you. I'm going to discard my Vengevine anyway and get my engine rolling. I can find more green cards for Vigor. Later, I want to counter their spell and pick up my Squeeze. That's what I want to do. So Mishra's Workshop. Trinosphere. Trinospheres aren't allowed to resolve, so we'll stop that now. And now they can't play anything. We'll pick up our Squeeze, we'll activate, and then we'll see what we're doing. If they've got a waste, if we get a Wasteland, then we're gaming. I've got a Wasteland straight up. Nice. And I've got a Vengevine as well. So Lizard comes in. Hollow One comes in. I'm just going to waste their workshop. I'm not going to mess around with the idea of Tabernacle, I don't think. I think I just Wasteland this, and if they've got the tab, they've got the tab. If they play a tab, then it's another turn that they're not playing a Wasteland, and I've got 2 Squeeze going. And they've conceded the game. Cool. On the draw, do I want a misstep as well, just as much interaction as possible? I can buy the idea. Minus a Squee, minus a trap. Minus a master. No, I'm trying to be max blue, so let's just minus a Squee. Who cares about life points? So Vigors, I've got to keep it, but I've got Vigors. I've got 2 to 3 Bazaars, depending on your perspective. The issue with this hand, though, is surviving the cards coming into play, right? I don't have permissions. If it's like a Trinosphere, then I'm just royally screwed. Like a Sphere I can beat, but a Trinosphere is too much. No Leyline again, so I don't think they've got any. Workshop. Lotus. Okay. Lotus for blue. This is turn 1 Worm Coil Engine. Yeah. Oh, Stonecoil Serpent. Cool. That's fortunate. I was scared. Cool. So we can leave that where it is for a moment and let a second artifact come into play. I'm going to activate my Bazaar and see what I get. Basically the world, I think. So let's think. Let's go Master of Death and Squee. No, so Blizzard and Squee for sure. Do I want to just come off the Master for a turn? Or do I want to hold? I don't think their hand's very good, is it? The hand's not very good because they've just gone turn 1 Stonecoil. So I don't believe they've got a Prism piece in hand. Which means what? They're going to play a Nettle Cyst next turn? That's also awful, though. I'm just going to come off the... I'm going to come off one of the Vigors. I can pitch my Noxious and get back onto Bazaar that way. I'm going to hold my... I'm going to hold green card pitch and blue card pitch. If they Tabernacle me, then I don't care. They can't pay for their Stonecoil either. But I believe I'm going to get a good little bink here. I've got the negation just in case I do have a Prism piece and they've played strangely. It's a Soul Ring, that's fine. It's a Nettle Cyst, which is also fine. Have they got a land? They've got a Wasteland, sure. Okay. They've got one card in hand. So I can figure both their artifacts. Do I leave them with a Soul Ring? Or do I just untap? Get my Squee back. See what the state of the world is. Basking Root Waller, lovely. So then I can Echoing Deeps their Wasteland. They missed a land drop, right? No, they didn't. They Wastelanded me. So I'm going to Echoing Deeps my Bazaar of Baghdad. I'm going to attack for 4. I can pitch this Lizard to Force of Vigor. I can negate something on the way down. They've got another Wasteland. I think that's fine. Okay. That's dead. Oh, Golos. Stonecoil Serpent. Okay, cool. Yeah, so they've just not got... They just kept double Wasteland and then nothing else was particularly relevant here. So let's just kill the 2 Stonecoil Serpents and get them out of the way. We'll take 2 off of this guy. I'll put a Bazaar of Baghdad back on top of my deck. My opponent's hellbent at the moment. No blocks, I go to 10. I draw Bazaar. I can activate Bazaar. Do I want to keep hold of Noxious? Not really. I'm going to discard the 3 on the right here. And then I can get in for 5 in this race that I'm winning at the moment. Golos is a real problem off the top, but not much I can do about that. I could have held the Caracas, but they'd still get their Tabernacle or whatever. But this insulates against more cards in their deck, I think, with all the Prism pieces that are available to them. Opponent's going to attack me for 2. I'm going to fall to 8. And that's all they've got. So I would like a wasteland at some point here. Vengevine. Well, here I can just discard the cards that want to be in the graveyard. I can roll out the Chalice on 0. That's going to prevent the Nettlecyst from pumping off of Moxen. And now I can attack for 5. Opponent falls to 6. Now I can counter a Golos, which is cool. Got a Patchwork, which I will counter. The Patchwork just annoys me. I take 2, I fall to 5. Do I at any point need to be concerned about my life points? What am I taking next turn? Put them to 1. They put me to 1. I can't pick up the Master. They die on my turn. They've held a card. I think I just attack with both. This is a 2/2. Well, I guess I can't counter the first spell that comes out, actually, can I? Because if they just play a Mox, I die. Oh no, they can't play a Mox. They concede the match. Okay, cool. I'm not sure about that last attack. Maybe that's supposed to just be a hollow one attack. But the fact that it makes both my creatures lethal next turn. The thing I was concerned about there, though, is that, I play, they play a, let's say, Golos. I counter it. They play an Urza Saga. I'm just dead. But maybe that's a risk I have to take. 2-0 against Sphere Shops, though, is wild. But maybe it's one of those things where they've just changed so much and their sideboard's so focused on what they expect to see that they actually aren't equipped. Especially when you're playing Stonecoil Serpents, right? And this 12 creature package is not interacting with us. Patchwork just annoys me though because I can't ever kill it, so that's why I counted it each time today. Okay, then round 3 we're up against Mayhem DJ, who I can't remember what they're usually on. I haven't seen them in a little while, so we are on the play though, so that'll be nice. No Bazaar, they've got a Lurrus, so I'm hoping that they're on Lurrus PO because that's the sort of matchup we want to be playing against. Obviously, we still need a Bazaar of Baghdad to participate in the game. I think I'll keep a Vigor in the deck, just in case they're on the PO list. And now we'll go to 5, and now we'll powder this, and we'll just keep some forces in. Now we've got a Bazaar of Vigor. Not a very nice hand to be activating with, but it's probably going to be play Bazaar and pass, I imagine, is the play. And hope they're on PO rather than control, because if they're on control they'll have 5 strip mines, and if they're on PO they'll have 0. It's an Underground Sea, which is inconclusive. Moxjet, I'm just going to let it go. Mishra's Bauble, still inconclusive. They bauble me, and then they pass. And this is the moment of truth, is when we find out whether they're on the... Oh, actually, do I even need to activate? That's the next question. Maybe I don't need to activate. They draw a card. So it looks like a Bowmaster, right? We play a Wasteland. We just Wasteland main phase, or Wasteland upkeep so I can't get negated on their Bowman. Probably that. And then my Vigor can become a discard. So they didn't flash in a Bowmaster. We're going to sacrifice this here. And that just happens. Okay, interesting stuff. Maybe I was supposed to activate there anyway, just to get the ball rolling. I hate that for us. Maybe I love that for us. Because maybe I just kill both with the trigger on the stack. You can't flash in a Bowman. I can fight with a Force of Will. You don't have Fluster. They fight back with Force of Will. Pitching stock up. Makes it more likely a PO variant. We force back. Does the opponent have another Force of Will? Doesn't look like it. No, all their cards go to the graveyard. No one's got anything. I'm Hellbent, but I've got a Bazaar. They've got 4 cards, but they've got no cards in play. So we end step activate. We will upkeep hit them with an activation as well. The reason to do activations here is the moment we find a Squee, we're like building into the game a bit. We draw a Vengevine. Okay, so over to the opponent. Obviously, they've got a turn here where they can capitalize, but they are just starting the game with 4 cards, basically 5 cards once they've taken their draw step, actually. But there's an Underground Sea and a pass for the turn, so we really need to capitalize on this and find something good before they build back. I think I just activate here. Trap or Noxious. I think I'm going to go with Noxious because I can. Yeah, I'm going to go with Noxious because I can Noxious back a Wasteland on my upkeep. And also get an activation sort of thing. I guess the ordering doesn't matter there, does it? We've got Scalding Tarn. End step, I'll just try and pick up the Wasteland. See where it takes us. They might counter it. Play a Wasteland. And Wasteland your Underground Sea. And then we'll just flip the Bazaar over now. So we still do want to be cognizant of the fact that some people play Bowmaster in their decks, sort of thing. Expect them to fetch an Undercity on end step here. Like Giusti, who's playing a PO-based Lurrus list, but with 3 or 4 bowmen in it, sort of thing. So it's not out of the realms of possibility. They are on a PO build here. We're going to just flip cards over because we need to find a Squee to get some card advantage going. It's a Wasteland, so yeah, we'll just ensure our opponent's never got any mana. We've drawn pretty well for that side of things. Back to us. I'm going to flip because I want to find Squeeze. We win. Okay, cool. Opponent's over it. So that's nice. There's still a bit of game to play there, to be honest with you. But they seem to be less interested. So what do we want? Do we want any cards, or are we just like completely set up? The one card we could consider is like a Surgical, because we can then get their POs and stock ups, at which point they're kind of out of the game. But I do wonder if we're just perfectly set up for how we want to be. We've got this one Echoing Deeps here, which could go and be something else. What's their graveyard hate going to be? It's going to be Needles, Nihil Spell Bombs. They could have a Lavinia, actually. There's a blue-white build going around. I don't think they will have it, but I think this is a nice hedge. There's a blue-white build from Maxtortion with Lavinias, so we're gonna try one Caracas. Okay, our first hand doesn't have a Bazaar, so it's a clean and easy powder. The second one's got some stuff, but it's got a Bazaar, but it's got no interaction on one, right? So we can't protect ourselves against some big turn 1 from our opponent, but we do get to lock it down quite quickly. This looks like a Thunder Trap. Yeah, so Thunder Trap on 1. It's going to look at the top 4 cards of their library, and then they get to take a non-creature spell from there. And they get an Ancestral. Holy hell. That's not cool. So 5 cards on the other side of the table. I'd like a Force of Will. I mean, that's a start at least. Okay, so Powder, Master of Death. I'm going to cast a Hollow one because I think that's a nice Force of Will bait for us. That gets through. Cast a Chalice on 0, more Force of Will bait. So that all happens. Now we need to hope that they go for a main phase Ancestral. They can still have Spell Pierce, Fluster, Force of Will, all this stuff. But at least we've got something that can interact at that stage, sort of thing. So polluted Delta from the away team. And they fetch immediately. They've got a basic island. And a merchant scroll. What do you scroll for if you're them here? PO? Just a Force of Will to force things through. I'm going to let it go because they've got the Ancestral behind anyway. Flusterstorm, sure. Okay. So they're trying to be a bit slower. They've given me that back. They've given me an activation here. And I find nothing relevant. So I'm going to come off Master, Powder. I'm kind of tempted to hold these wastes. These wastelands. Do I want Noxious? Yeah, I think I'm going to pitch the Noxious Revival. Now I'm going to attack for 4. I could have fought the Merchant Scroll, but it just seems so loose. Like, we know they've got the Ancestral already. Their PO's not very good because their Sapphire costs 0 and I've got a Chalice. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to go upkeep. And if they cast the Ancestral now, then I'll just waste them. And then I'll just waste them then, sort of thing. But let's do this upkeep. So we ate that mana. They're going to Ancestral. I'm still going to negate back because I want to eat the Force of Will. The Flusterstorm, sorry. And this way we've eaten a bunch of mana on their turn. They've got a Lurrus, fine. So, but I've got Squee going. I've got another Wasteland for whatever land they play this turn. And we've eaten 2 of their mana. They're going to have 7 cards in hand after their draw step, which is very powerful. But they've got 1 mana, a land drop to give, and Chalice in the way. So, Nihil Spellbomb. Probably got to crack that immediately to get rid of my Master. Yep. Thundertrap Chamber, you getting in? I get a Bazaar. I'm going to activate. So Lizard. Lizard what? Lizard Bazaar what? Lizard Bazaar Vigor, I think. The lizards are quite embarrassing into Thundertrap Trainer these days. Maybe that's a reason for us to consider a Gaia's Cradle in the future. Maybe not. It's probably not enough of an issue. We'll play this. We'll play the Bazaar. We'll pass the turn. We'll play the Wasteland, sorry. We'll attack for 4 and pass the turn. The opponent's got a very easy land stock up go hand here, or option, possibility sort of thing. But against 1 card, that looks like a really nice way to go about it. They've got Soul Guide Lantern, which I'm also not too stressed about at the moment. And then just passing of the turn, so they've not got any mana. We obviously can't attack with this lizard, but I think that's fine. Force of Vigor. I think I can still activate here, right? Because I can hold the Mind Break Trap, but if I find my Strip Mine, it's great. And if I find a Squee, they've kind of got to. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so let's just discard these. This then taxes their Soul Guide Lantern going into next turn. Like, what is it they want to do? Do they want to be... they're chumping here. So, like, the idea here is... Yeah, okay, they're going to get my Squee, they're going to get my Vengevine. But they don't seem to be achieving much. Maybe they want to try and find a land. And maybe that's difficult for them. They've got a Soul Ring, that's a very good pickup. And I've gone through a lot of Vigors. So they are building out of this. Yeah, they've got to exile my graveyard, which I think is good for us. Good to stretch. Manifold Key's fine, because I can't activate my trap. And then they pass to us. So they're going to have mana, they're going to have a PO available. The PO's only for 2, or it's for 3, and their Sapphire's dead. I think that's an absolutely fine place to hold here, is the double Mind Break Trap. Because I think they're building to a big combo turn. And it needs to happen now or next turn. So double trap can be difficult to play around. They might know about the first one. But like here it looks like a nice easy PO for 2, right? But maybe you've got to go for 3 to hit a land to redeploy your Soul Ring and Manifold Key. They get an extra bit of mana out of the Soul Ring. That's 5 mana. Obviously can't fight this PO. Yeah, they're picking up the Sapphire. Yeah, because maybe they can draw into Chain of Vapor. But that is one spell, 11 cards in hand, and they can't play Moxen without Chain. So that's Scalding Tarn into Soul Ring. My traps are on from here on out. If they fetch, they die. And they just conceded the match. Yeah, they couldn't get through. They couldn't get through the Chalice, let alone the double trap, I guess. So cool game. Nice to beat that deck because that's one of the big ones, right? So let's go to round 4 and I'll see you there. Okay, then round 4, I think it's ZS. I don't know what they're going to be on. Hopefully some combo nonsense. Combo is what we want to play against. Well, not with this hand. Okay, so we obviously mulligan our 7. And we mulligan our 6. And we mulligan our 5. And our 4. And our 3. And our 2. And we can powder the powder away. And we've got a Mind Break Trap. Okay, well, I'll keep this hand. We'll see what our opponent's doing. They know exactly Serum Powder. They've got a Once Upon a Time. So they're on some sort of Vine nonsensey thing. Maybe a lands leaning deck. That's a Vengevine. Urborg. Okay, so they're on like a scam list. Putrid Imp. Oh, no, this is dope. Discards a Vengevine. Discards a Lizard. Triggers a Vengevine. This is great. Let's watch more of this. Alright. Okay, yeah, fine. Putrid Imp. What a banger. I've got a Vengevine. It's your go. I need to be a bit careful. I don't want them to grief me and see what flavour of Bazaar I'm on, because they're only on powder. They've only seen powder so far. So they've got Swamp. Please show me more cards, yes. In they come for the 6-ball. So Swamp means that they can have Bowman as well, right? Echoing Deeps doesn't do anything. So I think they're on their like Hogak scam list. Another Wasteland. This could be a tough one. This could be a tough one to win into. Okay then. Well, they're not showing us any more cards. They don't need to. Putrid Imp though. That's dope. So I want my second Deeps. I want my kill spells. I think I'm interested in the 2 surgicals. I don't want Mind Break Traps. I don't want Force of Wills. Well, Force of Negation, sorry. I might want Force of Wills. 2 snapbacks could be interesting, but we'll see. Chalice doesn't look relevant. Misstep looks good. And this all looks good, right? It's just, so now it's just snapbacks and Force of Wills. A 61. So I could just go with like 3 Force and a snapback. Answer things once they've come in, assume they can't hurt us. Surgical Your Vines. I don't think they're a massively heavy deck on the graveyard when they play a scam list. I think it's just playing Hogaks and Griefs and stuff, so that's what I'm going to hedge towards. I'm not going to bring in the Ravenous Traps. I just don't think they're that all in on the graveyard. I'm expecting to get ley lined so the Vigors stay in. And I think the snapbacks will be more useful than the force of wills in order to remove blockers if we need it. So, on the die roll, would I like to play? Yes, please. No Bazaar there. No Bazaar there. No Bazaar there, so we're on 5. Down to 4. We've got a Bazaar. So, we're going to keep Bazaar, Surgical, Vigor, Noxious, I guess. Or maybe I keep Fury over Surgical. But I don't really have an activation, do I? Do I want to clean up or be proactive with Surgicals? I'm expecting my opponent to have a ley line here. What am I on? 4 or 5? I'm looking to 4 cards, I'm looking to 5 cards. Okay. Keep this hand. Get rid of powder. And I think I'm just gonna get rid of the surgical. Because if they're just like on a Bowmaster hand, it's horrible. No ley line's interesting. Do I want to play any cards this turn? My force, I don't think so. I think I just pass. Draw a card next turn, and then try and get onto this Fury. I'm just too scared of their Wasteland. And I know I've got the Noxious, but I don't like... I'm just playing it to discard Vigor and 2 cards. And then Noxious back my Bazaar, once they've wasted me. So I think I'd rather just skip that whole charade, have a Noxious. Opponent's doing the same though, look. Yeah, so opponent's just on a really Wasteland heavy hand. That's a hollow one, so I get to develop a threat at least. So now I can activate with the same intentions. So Lizard, Vigor, and I guess a Fury's got to go, right? I need the Noxious Revival. Because I believe my opponent's hand is just a range of Wasteland variants. I could hold that if I believe that I'm going to get coast to coast with my hollow one, but I don't think I am. I think they could have snuff outs. I think they could have Vigors of their own. So, cool vintage moment though, where no player plays any cards for the first turn. You know, it's a turn 1 format, but we don't actually want to play it. So, that was fun. And if I don't get wasted and they do dump power, say they're just like a little thing away, just a missing piece that they find this turn, we can always Noxious the Fury. But I would much rather hold the Noxious than 2 Furies. So our end 7 opponent's got a little pause, they didn't Vigor us there. And I'm expecting it's just a Wasteland. Yeah, there's the Strip. Strip's fine. Back to us. Let's go get Misstep then. I'll pick up a Bazaar. Will I pick up a Bazaar? I've got no activation at the moment. Maybe I won't. I like my cards. Vigor on hollow one, sure. That's a Vengevine. So now we are more interested in picking up that Bazaar, but I think this is fine. Opponent goes to 19 off of our attack. And now they've got no plays. So they're just on another Wasteland. So do I just take another turn? I think so. We get a Wasteland of our own. I get in for 1. I'm just trying to get more cards because my activations at the moment aren't very good. The one downside of this is, am I playing into them drawing a Surgical Extraction? I don't know if they play it, but it's just on my mind because it's in my deck sort of thing. So we slow rolled the Bazaar, they slow rolled the Strip Mine, but they then have had now 2 turns to build back and leverage the fact that I've not been doing anything. So they've got a Bazaar of Baghdad here. Interesting. They are a Bazaar strategy. Because they have a non-Bazaar strategy as well. They're on a mono black Hogak strat then, I guess. And now I feel stupid for the way that I've played this. Hollow one. Do you have 2 hollow ones? That'd be brutal. Hollow one into Endurance. Brings back a Vengevine. Now I feel bad about where we are, but Endurance resolves. We know they're going to target us, but we'll let them do it first. They've got 1 card left. I'm going to put a Bazaar on top of my deck. and they have the misstep. Okay, yeah, so maybe I did play this poorly, but I just didn't feel like I had any good activations. And I may as well take the draw steps first, right? I'll bang on time. Right, so to get that out of here and then die slowly, but I don't know. Just felt like I needed to draw cards, but maybe picking it up is much safer. They come in for 8, which will put me down to 6. So I guess I'm supposed to chump here. I can't draw a knock just to get that back. I can draw a snap back, that's interesting. It buys me a moment, so I'll probably just pitch the... I'll pitch the misstep to bounce the Vengevine, because then Force of Vigor plus any red card kills the hollow one. Interesting game. There's a good chance I lost it when I didn't get my Bazaar back. But I wanted to get my Bazaar back when I had a good activation, rather than lose an entire draw step to an activation that I don't like, sort of thing. I can't use that. So opponent's going to attack us to 2. Got a Lotus for green. What the hell is that? Discard a card, regenerate it. Discard the Vengevine. Discard the Lizard. That's great. What's this card? Patchwork Gnomes from Odyssey. Discard a card, regenerate Patchwork Gnomes. 3 mana, 2/1. Welcome to Vintage. What a card. I'm happy losing to that. That's fine. And then opponent comes in with the squad, and we are dead. Lotus into Patchwork Gnomes. What a way to go. Yeah, I could have definitely played that differently, but... And maybe I should, because I know they're going to be on, like, some form of graveyard hate. But I kind of was hoping that I could just find something, pick up the Bazaar, and then I play Bazaar, I activate it, stuff happens. We put some cards into play, we Fury them, you know. And then when we're passing back to them to get their Strip Mine activation, life is sweet. But maybe having Bazaar in hand, so that I can then be more reactive of just like, oh, things are falling apart. I activate Bazaar to go searching for answers, rather than just drawing them is better. But I just didn't like losing that draw step. Anyway, we lose to Patchwork Gnomes, which I think is a great thing to lose to. Let's go to our final round then. Okay, round 5. We're up against Azure U09. They've got a Lurrus. We've got a Bazaar, Hollow One, Force of Will, a Wasteland. Probably going to keep this hand. Any Lizard, the Dream. Okay, I accept. I accept not getting a Lizard there. Hollow One, Hollow One. Yes, I'd like my Vengevine back. Hollow One. And they've conceded the game. I had another one, bro. At least let me show you all of them. What do we want against Lurrus? Just a random Caracas, a random Echoing Deeps, cut a Squee, cut a Trap, hedge each way. Not bringing in removal. Caracas for Lavinia. Lurrus is revealed. I would like to take a mulligan. Caracas is also like a fine hedge in a lot of matchups just because they can have a Tabernacle sort of thing, and if you just put a Caracas in play, then you're insulated against the Tabernacle. Please wait there whilst I shuffle my deck. I'll keep 4, and I'll drop Caracas, Wasteland, Vigor. I'll say done. I'll die to a Needle, that's fine. They've kept 7. They've got a Delta, an immediate fetch, Mox Jet, Yixid Jailer, fine. So they're on the controlling Lurrus deck rather than what's the right word? I was about to say a good one. A PO one. This is a bit annoying against the Jailer. Do I just want to strip them or do I want to Wasteland? I guess I will just Do I want to strip them or do I want to Bazaar? I guess I just Bazaar. I don't have a Fury in my deck, but I can discard stuff and cast a hollow one, I guess. Discard these, hold the strip mine. Get into a strip battle. Or do I just hold... Or do I just come off strip mine? Am I really stripping them out of a game? Probably not. Cast hollow one. But negation's so bad against the control deck though, because they only play creatures. Wasteland's fine. I've got a 4/4 and that's the whole game plan. Attack. Unlucky. It's a lizard. I attack for 4. And the hope here is that they're just holding a bunch of permission and all they draw is permission and wastelands and we just attack them for 4 a bunch. No, they've got a bowman. And I know I've got the biggest creature in play, but I don't think we need to... I mean, if we're trying to race, and I'm actually for it until another bowman comes down. There's another wasteland. They buy Lurrus. And now we're dead. Okay. Because Lurrus will come down, they won't block with the Bowmaster, and I can never attack again. So controlling Lurrus means we want these cards here. I want my Squee back. I'm less interested in Mind Break traps at this point. I don't think we need Caracas, because they are just blue-black. And then what else am I actually interested in? I'm interested in Snapback, I'm less interested in Negations. I'm also not massively interested in Force of Vigors either, so I'm going to drop 2 Vigors, 2 Negations. I'm going to sort by colour quickly. I'm on the play, so I'm going to keep the Chalice around. 9, 13 blue cards to support 4 Force of Wills. It's not great, but maybe I just come off the Vigors then completely. Just dead to Needle and play 2 Negations. But then I've got all my removal. Yeah, I'm going to try this. The Negations aren't very good, but I think that's fine. Well, I need a Bazaar of Baghdad first, which has been a problem these last 2 rounds. So I'll keep this. Play Bazaar, hope for a lizard. Thank you. And then we play we get wastelanded, and then we play wasteland and pray that they wasted us before they tabbed us. And that's the game. You lose a lot of agency when you mulligan to 4. We've got a Force of Will for our hollow one, pitching a Consign to Memory. How weird. I get a Vendivine. We attack. We do get a Squee back next turn if they don't turn 1 jailer us. But if they just pass with 2 mana, we can't activate our Bazaar. So it looks like we're getting turn 1 jailered again. Oh, frog. Jesus, that's awful for me. So how do we play? I guess we just activate the Bazaar. Discard these 3 and then hit them with consecutive wastelands and hope they have to start jumping and start missing land drops and stuff. They've got 3 cards, so I can't attack. And we're just trying to draw a Fury and fade wasteland from our opponent. There's a Saga's fine. I've got a wasteland in hand. We've got a Nihil Spellbomb, which they might just crack immediately. Yeah, so my Squee goes away. I don't know if they can attack here. I hope they can't. No, cool. Another wasteland, so we'll just waste and pass the turn. And one issue with the frog is even if they miss land drops, it then means I can't attack, right? So it's weird. I need them to keep making land drops, casting spells, at which point I'm losing because they've got a psychic frog in play. Wasteland you. They flash in a bowman, we flip some cards over. We lose a strip mine. And yeah, this matchup continues to be miserable, but the hope in playing Squee at the moment is that this deck isn't winning because it's up against decks which are faster and more powerful sort of thing. I can attack with Vengevine here. I think I might try it. They just chump, sure. They exile 3 cards from their graveyard and get in with the frog as a 1/2. They make a land drop. We untap. We draw a Bazaar. We attack for 5 and we basically scoop to another Bowmaster. No blocks from the opponent, okay. And we'll hold this Bazaar because we're interested in activating ours at some point. But we are completely out of this game, really. Our opponent's drawing multiple cards a turn. We didn't really get anywhere in this game. They've got a wasteland, I don't mind that. They're going to buy Lurrus. I draw a Fury. I attack for 5, and we just have to pray that I should not yield. No, they didn't block anyway. I attack for 5, and we just have to pray that the Bowmaster gets in the way of the Vengevine next turn to give us the activation. So in comes the frog. They've got 7 cards in hand, and the thing is here that yes, I'm trying to draw a red card, but it's just so easy for them to have Force of Will up by now, right? They wasteland my Bazaar, that's fine. And they play Lurrus. So like we can win the game with a red card here if they manage to not draw a Force of Will at all. And we draw a Lizard. So let's attack for 4. They block with Bowmaster. This gives us an activation at the very least. And we draw nothing good. Okay, you'll go. They've got the Wasteland rolled up. They've got another Bowman rolled up because of the Lurrus. Makes it very hard for us to get through. Oh, they tapped their Wasteland. That's interesting. Lurrus comes in. They gain some life points. We go to 13. They go to 7. They just have another Bowman. Or another frog. No, they've got nothing, just a fetch land. Okay. Okay, cool. So we're exceptionally dead. I think we just concede there. So 3 and 2 with Squee into what was essentially 3 bad matchups, and then mono black SqueeVine, which is a bit of a brew. I don't know if I played it very well. I can imagine that matchup being good. I can imagine the matchup being bad, if you know what I mean. They are a 5 Wasteland deck with Graveyard Hate, and their creatures are the same size as ours. Isn't always great for us. And then I imagine they're better than us because they are more resilient. Being like they've got mana as well, sort of thing. They're not as reliant on the Bazaar. And then the 2 sphere shots, which we shouldn't be winning, but we did, so that felt good. We beat PO as I expected to, and we lost to Control, which I expected to. So, cool little league. It feels like the metagame's moving around at the moment. There's a big showcase at the weekend, which I'm not sure what I'm playing for at the moment. Either, at the moment I've managed to narrow it down to Doomsday PO or Squee. But yeah, that was a league with Squee. Are we back? I don't know. We need the PO decks and the CRK shops decks to eat up a bit more Lurrus metagame, in my opinion. But I'm going to play a few more leagues with this week and see if I can convince myself to play it on Saturday. So thanks for watching and see yous again.